When's the last time you actually opened a business budget? Not glanced at your bank account balance, but actually sat down and decided where the revenue, where the money's going to go before it arrives, before you sent it or before you spent it. If the answer is never, or it's been a while, or I'm not ready, I'm not making enough yet, we're going to dive into the belief today that I hear more than any other when it comes to the business budget. And for most, it's I'm not making enough to need a budget. And that is so backwards, for lack of a better word. We're going to talk about 3 ways that this shows up, even when you think you've got a handle on it, how waiting for the right revenue number or doing the math in your head or checking the bank account balance is actually sabotaging your business. We can't call those budgeting because those aren't budgeting. We're going to talk about what a business budget is actually for. And it's not about limiting, it's not about restriction, any of those things. Okay. So if you've ever told yourself, I'm going to put together I'm going to put together a business budget once I hit this revenue goal, this one is for you. If we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Aimee Cerka, money confidence coach and bookkeeper. And over the last 14 years, I've helped heart-centered entrepreneurs stop doing money from survival mode and come back into emotional safety and grounded power. In each and every video, you're going to find real, honest conversations about money, both the strategy, the mindset, and the emotional and energetic pieces, because in my experience, you simply can't separate them. So let's get to it. Welcome back to Money Simplified. We are talking today about business budgets and really specifically one of the biggest misconceptions that I hear when clients come to me saying, it's like, I'm not making enough to need a business budget yet. Okay. But here's like the problem with that. Okay. Your business budget isn't just about like a revenue number. So your bookkeeping, which we talked about last episode, if you missed that one, I would go back and check it out. We're in like a series here where we're going through all 16 of the patterns that I find show up and that we need to shift. And most of them are just tiny shifts, right? Like different ways to approach things to truly unlock your cash flow in your business. Okay. So bookkeeping tells us what's already happened. Your budget is the proactive part. It's like, where do you want the money to go? Right? So your budget isn't like oh, yay, we've got this figured out. There's enough money here for this. It's like, how do you know what you actually have? How do you know what you're actually needing to spend, right? Like if we're not tracking your reoccurring monthly expenses, which your bookkeeping truly helps. So yes, your bookkeeping piece, being able to know what actually happens helps you with the forecasting piece, which is the budget part. Okay. So, kind of like last week, I've got 3 ways that you're actually like sabotaging your business budget and we feel like we've got it handled. Okay. So the first one, we've kind of already talked about it, right? That not ready yet. I got to wait for a bigger revenue number. I'm not quite there yet. And this applies even if you're still funding your business from your personal finances. My business budgeting system, Prosperity Simplified, does both. Like there is a seamless transition between funding your business from your personal finances and paying yourself from your business. And that's an important thing because if you set up a business budget or you don't have a business budget because you're not making enough yet, I'm not going to worry about that yet until I'm making enough. How do you know what enough is? How do you know what the revenue is coming in? How much do you know what you need? Are you going to be able to make this higher? Is it in the budget? Like we build this on percentage-based budgeting, which if you've been around for a little bit, you know that I love percentage-based budgeting because it grows with you, right? So everything that is important to you is scaled as your revenue goes. Goes. We don't want it to go, right? We're keeping some of it at least. But when we're not prepared, we don't have a business budget in place, not until we hit that revenue goal. You know, subconsciously, it's going to be a big project to put a business budget together, right? So we will self-sabotage, hold ourselves back, completely unaware so we don't hit the revenue goal because we know we're going to have this big project and your subconscious brain is designed to keep you safe. It does an amazing job at it. Fantastic. Love that you're safe, all right? But again, I think we want to be happy. There's not lions and tigers chasing us, and we have to become aware of where we are protecting ourselves without even realizing it. Okay? So, waiting for the revenue. The second thing that I see with your business budget, maybe you feel like you've got one together, but you're doing the math in your head. Like it's everything, you've got it all figured out. It's like, okay, this part goes here, this part goes there. So it's not an actual system. And you're spending so much mental power trying to remember everything. It's like the whole we're juggling. We got all the balls up in the air, right? Like we can't drop them. We can't drop one. And then how are you showing up for your clients? And as a CEO and a CMO and all the things, right? How are you marketing your business? How are you doing client delivery? If you're trying to remember the business budget in the background, like, okay, so I got to do this and this and this, and it's got to have all the numbers in place. Okay. That's not really business budgeting either. And maybe it's not business budgeting from a CEO standpoint. Sure, you can get away with it. But are you truly a CEO of your business? Do you want to run your business like a business, as a business owner? This isn't a hobby. Let's treat it seriously. And we talked a lot, I think that was last week, about the amazing benefits that we have of running an online business. Like I'm sitting here in my house, like the overhead that we have is so minimal. That's why so many of us are able to start businesses. But because we don't necessarily have as much skin in the game, it can kind of expose us that we're trying to take the cheap way out and not run our businesses as a business. Okay? And I say that with love. All right, third one. This is probably like the second most popular. We really should have flipped 2 and 3. Because this is bank balance budgeting. So you'll log in, you look at what's sitting in your bank account, and you're like, okay, like I'm where I'm at. We're good. Not worried about it. There's money there. And that's your budget. What is sitting in your bank account is not your budget at all. That's like reacting. And we don't even know what the number is. Maybe you wrote a check. Maybe you have an agreement. Maybe you've done those things and it's all going to disappear. And not all, but like you're going to spend a big chunk of money on an expense, which might be a very valid needed expense. Great. We invest into our businesses. But if you're just looking at the bank balance, that's not your budget. Right? Okay. So those are the 3 ways that we are like, yeah, I've got a business budget handled and I don't really have it handled. If this is landing for you, the business budget is just one of the 16 patterns that we look at inside a free tool that I built called the cash flow calculator. You don't need to know any of your numbers. It's an assessment style calculator. Simply go to aimeecerka.com/cash flow. And that link is also in the show notes, so you can grab it now. All right, now back to the episode. I know that I have, like, even though I teach this, I have fallen back into this sometimes where I find like, oh, okay, yeah, like I'm just looking at it after the fact. I'm not being as proactive when things get busy. Like balls drop, right? We forget things. And that's part of why when we set up the Prosperity Simplified system, like we build in buffers so that you're good. So we'll say this episode is going to drop on Tuesday. So we'll just say, for example, Tuesday is your finance day, right? So on this Tuesday, so it's dropping on the 18th. So on the 18th, you're going to take care of the next 2 weeks worth. So if you miss the following week because you're really busy with client delivery, you got sick, you're out of town, whatever it might be, you're still good. You're not behind, air quotes here. Because we build in the buffers. Because life's, and we know that, right? Okay, so when we're talking about I'm not ready yet, I need more revenue to be able to, before I need a budget, right? And most people, we know, they throw out the 10K months, right? If I could have 10K months because like, then we'll be set. I'll be good. That's my goal. That's when I'll put this in place. That's when I'll do the bookkeeping, the business budget, all the things. Okay. It's the popular number, right? And again, we talked about the subconscious mind and the way that like, hey, we're almost programmed with it, right? Because we hear it so often. So what number do you actually need though? Do you actually need 10K? Maybe it's less. Maybe it's more. But if you haven't done the math, and again, it gets to be simple. That's why my system is called Prosperity Simplified. Think of like profit first, because a lot of people have heard of profit first, right? I love the idea of profit first, but I find that so many people don't implement it. So I took about 4 different budgeting systems and combined it and created my own system. So it's like the simplified version here because we need to be able to do it. So math is simple. We put in the little formulas. You don't have to be sitting here doing math, right? Not everybody's favorite subject in school, not all of our best subjects for sure. But again, you're not going to know what you actually need that number to be, what your goal should be. If we're just pulling numbers out of hats, we don't know without the budget. Now, of course, once we have that number and we're looking for growth, then you're looking for more and we're playing with the magic money and we're doing all of those things. Yes, but you've got the budget in place that you know what your foundation is. And everything else is bonus. It's golden. And then you can upgrade your lifestyle and everything is done proportionately, right? Okay. But your budget, and if you listen to this, none of this is about restriction. Your budget is not about restriction. It's not about you can't hire this person, you can't have this expense, you can't do that. It's not that at all. It's about intention. How much do you want to be able to pay yourself? Because that's one of the big ones we hear, right? Like, I don't have the money to pay myself. If you don't have the money to pay yourself, are we looking at the numbers ahead of time to see where we're at? Are we looking at our expenses? Do we actually need that much? How much are you reinvesting into your business? What kind of season are you in? Are you in a growth and you're hands-on and we're spending more? Are you in a scaling that's less of your time and more investment? Like, you can't answer any of that without a number. And if we're just flying by the seat of our pants, just day by day trying to make it through, it's like we're waiting to arrive, but we never arrive. You're driving without a destination. You're just driving. But we've got to have like those checkpoints, right? Because, life is a journey, not a destination. We've all heard this, right? It's not like you hit this point and it's like, oh, I made it. You hit a goal. Great. Fantastic. I'm glad that you hit your goal. But it's a pit stop along the way. And sit there and celebrate it and do all those things. We're going to get into more of that as we go throughout this series. But we've got to know what the numbers are. Where are we wanting to go? So last week we talked about bookkeeping and how that is the number one pattern where I see we cut little corners and it sabotages our cash flow. We'll just do this from alignment. And notice what we talk about here. I give you all the tactical, the strategies, the how-tos, all the things. We can get into specifics, and we do that inside Prosperity Simplified, okay? But we're talking about the principles, and the principles that help you show up as your business owner, as a CEO. These things are universally true. It doesn't matter what kind of business you're running, if it's a nonprofit or a service-based business, a brick and mortar, we all have these same principles that we need to have in place. When we're avoiding them, it's causing problems and it's sabotaging our cash flow. All right, so if you want my full business budgeting system that gives you the step-by-step, the mindset, the strategy, the how-to, it's all there, right? When it comes to a business budget, that is Prosperity Simplified. It's currently for sale, $111. AimmeeCerka.com/prosperity gives you that one. But if you're not ready for the full system yet, I've designed essentially what I call a quick start to help you get into a little bit of momentum, because often we put build a business budget on our to-do list, and it's this massive item that becomes this thing that we just put off and put off and put off. So if you only are ready for a one quick start action step, a smaller piece to put onto your to-do list to knock out, to make progress, get into momentum, all the things, right? Then start with Prosperity Biz Basics, okay? The workshop style masterclass where I give you that first part to get into action with Prosperity Simplified. If you grab the full Prosperity Simplified, you have the quick start included, okay? So Prosperity Biz Basics is the quick start version. It's $33. I'm going to put that link for you in the show notes because I don't remember that one off the top of my head. So check those out. If something in today landed for you and you haven't already gone through my cash flow calculator, go take the cash flow calculator. It's absolutely free. It's going to take a few minutes and it's going to show you which one of these patterns to actually focus on first, whether that's your business budget, whether it's the bookkeeping, or if it's something else entirely that we're going to get to as we go through this series. The link's going to be in the show notes, or you can go to aimeecerka.com/cash flow. And remember, like, you were never meant to do this alone. That was never the plan. We're meant to do this in community. You're supposed to have support. That's the way it works. You do not have to figure this out alone. You've got this, and I've got you. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.